First call the frame, then draw the vertical and horizontal plates. Select the horizontal plate, then press Alt+ to adjust the clearance between the selected horizontal and top plates. Select the horizontal plate and press Alt+ to adjust the lower clearance between the horizontal plate and the bottom plate. With the vertical plate selected, press Alt+ to adjust the left clearance between the vertical and left panels. With the vertical plate selected, press Alt+ to adjust the right clearance between the vertical and right panels. Adjust the clearance between the two vertical plates, and the laminate between the two vertical plates will also change. Cancel the Plate Auto Move option in the settings and then adjust the clearance between the two plates, then the middle plate will not change. It should be noted that this top plate does not cover the left and right side plates, so when adjusting the clearance, the left and right side plates are not changed. Call the cabinet frame and draw the horizontal and vertical panels. The drawn horizontal and vertical plates are flush with the top plate without protrusions or depressions. Hold down the Shift key and use the left mouse button to select more boards. Then click the right mouse button, find the selected operation in the pop-up interface, click Hide, or use the shortcut key Ctrl+U. Draw the back panel, click the right mouse button, click on All Displays, or use the shortcut key Ctrl+I to display all the panels. Hold down the mouse wheel and move the mouse to rotate the interface. You will be found that the middle horizontal plate will automatically retract to reserve the position and thickness of the backplane. Open the settings, cancel the Add Backplane Plates Auto Resize option, and then hide the middle horizontal plate as before. Add the backplane. After the display again, it was found that the middle horizontal plate did not reserve the position and thickness of the backplane. Call the frame and draw the board. Select this riser, click on the distance extension, select the upper extension, enter 200, then the upper part of the plate is extended by 200 mm. Use the upper extension again, input -600, the upper part of the plate is reduced by 600 mm. Use the lower extension, input -200, the lower part of the plate is reduced by 200 mm. Extend before use, input -100, the front of the board is reduced by 100 mm. Extend after use, input -100, the back of the board is reduced by 100 mm. When the riser is extended left and right, it returns directly to the error, and the riser does not extend left and right. If you don't know the specific value of the telescopic expansion, you can use the extension of the plate. Select the plate, click on the extension of the plate, and extend it up. You can see it in the red text below. You need to click on the reference object. Click on the horizontal plate above and the upper part of the riser will extend into contact with the horizontal plate above. Use the plate to extend down, and then click on the bottom plate. The lower part of the riser will extend into contact with the bottom plate. Use the panel to extend forward, and then click on the adjacent cross panel. The front portion of the riser will be flush with the front portion of the adjacent cross panel. Using the panel extension, rear extension, and then clicking on the adjacent transverse panel, the rear portion of the riser will be flush with the rear portion of the adjacent transverse panel. The of the panel will be the same as which side to extend. The extension of the panel is the same as which side is used to extend which side. The difference between the extension of the plate and the extension of the distance is that the distance extension needs to input a specific value, and the extension of the plate needs to click on the reference object. Align the panels. Align left and click on the reference on the left. Use the plate alignment, bottom alignment, point the left vertical plate, and let the horizontal plate and the vertical plate be flush. Call the upper cabinet module to modify the upper cabinet parameters. Align the upper and lower cabinets with the move function. Add upper closing. Copy the upper mouth and make a left closing. Use the plate alignment. Align the plate right to the left side plate, and then adjust the X position of the plate. Use the plate to extend and extend down to complete the left closing of the upper cabinet. Copy the left cuff of the upper cabinet. Use the plate to extend up and down, and complete the left cuff of the lower cabinet. Fast milling, inner arc. You can select 4 corners, then enter the radius. When making the F-frame, you can use the outer arc function. Select the upper front corner, and enter the radius. The shape you made can be restored to a rectangle and all shapes are removed. Use the chamfer angle, set to the left front corner, set the cut width to 600, and cut to a depth of 100. Use the right angle, set to the right front angle, cut width to 600, and cut depth to 100. Use the cut square, set to the front, set the distance from the left to 600, the cut width to 100, and the cut depth to 200. It should be noted that the distance from the left side of the square to the left side of the board is the distance from the left side. Use the recovery rectangle to cancel the shape of this board. Use the digging half circle. Set the distance from the left to 1000, and the radius of the circle to 200. It should be noted that the left side refers to the left side of the semicircle and the left side of the plate. Use the inner circle to dip. Enter the center of the circle from the left, the center of the circle, and the radius of the circle. It should be noted that the center of the circle is used for the left and the distance, not the edge of the circle. Use the inside of the digging to enter the square to the left, the square to the rear, the square width and the square depth. The width of the square is the left and right direction, and the depth of the square is the front and rear direction. When the input parameter exceeds the size range of the plate, the software will prompt an error and cannot generate the shape. Draw two cross-stitched plates. Use the plate to extend, and extend right to extend the horizontal plate to the right, so that the two plates overlap. To use the horizontal plate to dig the missing part, you need to determine how much the left side of the square is missing. At this time, click the vertical plate to see the left and right clearance distance of the vertical plate. Select the horizontal plate. Use the cut square. The direction is the front. Set the left to 973. The width is 18. The depth is half of the depth of the horizontal plate. It should be noted that 18 is generally reserved plate thickness, easy to card into. Hidden panels can see the gaps that are dug out. After the crossplate has been dug, the vertical plate needs to be dug. At this time, you need to check the amount of the horizontal plate. Then select the riser. Use the cut square. The direction is set to the back. Set the distance to 1123. The width is 18. The depth is half of the vertical plate depth. Hide the horizontal plate. View the gap of the vertical plate. When you are working on a computer desk, you need to dig an inner circle and put the power cord into the inner circle. Use the digging inner circle function. Need to dig a square groove in the drawer. Place the square groove in the middle of the pumping surface, and make the inlay handle. First determine the size of the square slot. Input the width of the slot 100 and depth 30. The width refers to the left and right direction. The depth is the up and down direction. And the cutting depth of the input square slot 10. Set the square slot to the left to be half the width of the entire pumping surface and then subtract half of the width of the square slot, so that the square slot is centered at the horizontal position of the pumping surface. Set the square groove to half the height of the entire pumping surface and then subtract half of the height of the square groove, so that the square groove is centered in the vertical position of the pumping surface. Note that the square groove is set to the front. Use a quick digging inner circle to dig a keyhole. Set the center of the circle to the left to be half the width of the pumping surface, and the center of the circle to the height of the pumping surface minus 30. That is, set the center of the circle to 30. The radius of the circle is 7.5. Adding drawers requires a space to be selected, and you can set inline drawers and cover drawers. The inline drawer is parallel to the space, and the outer lid drawer covers the space, and the amount of cover can be set by itself. Adding a drawer allows you to set the height of the drawer to fit the space or a fixed height. When it is set to fit the space, it fills the entire space. Multiple drawers can be set at once. Set the space of the 3 drawers to be selected, and the height of the generated drawers is the same. Divide the 3 drawers proportionally. The height of the first drawer is double the height of the other 2 drawers. The thickness parameter refers to the thickness of the panel in the drawer box, excluding the draw surface and the bottom plate. The door panel gap refers to the distance reserved for the pumping surface. The drawer depth is the depth of the drawer. If it is set to a depth and the depth is 400, the resulting inline drawer depth is 382, which is exactly 400. If it is a generated cover drawer, the depth of the drawer is exactly 400. Set to the distance and the value is set to 100, then the distance between the drawer and the back plane is 100. After setting the distance, the value is set to 400. Then the distance between the drawer and the back panel is 400. The bottom plate of the drawer can be set as a thick bottom plate and a thin bottom plate, and the thickness of the bottom plate can be set when the thin bottom plate is set. When set to a thick bottom plate, the thickness of the bottom plate is the same as the thickness of the drawer. The thin bottom plate has two options. One is the outer cover bottom plate, and the other is the card slot bottom plate. The former is used to wrap the drawer with the bottom plate. The latter is the bottom plate is slotted on the drawer. The groove bottom distance is the distance reserved between the bottom plate and the drawer. If the drawer is large, you can choose to use the drawer pull to drag the bottom of the drawer. Set the thickness of the pumping surface according to your needs. Set whether to use the front pumping. Set the pumping surface not generate. The pumping surface will still be displayed, but it is displayed is not produced in the production of the property. When the height option is set to a fixed height, how much is written on the right side and what is the height of the drawer? The distance between the drawer and the drawer is the distance between the drawer and the lower side of the drawer. When set to the distance, the value on the right refers to the distance from the drawer to the side of the drawer. In the Rail Settings tab, you can set the thickness of the rail, the depth, and the position of the rail holes. In the High Position column, you can set the position of the rail. In the Positioning Hole Setting column, you can set the position of the positioning hole of the guide rail. In the Lock Settings tab, you can set whether or not the drawer uses a lock. The lock has two options, a round lock and a 3-chain. Set the handle type, position, etc. in the Handle tab. To use the groove handle, you need to set the width, height and depth of the groove. The width refers to the left and right direction. The height refers to the up and down direction. The depth refers to the front and rear direction.